All right, Ellen, we're live on YouTube.
Awesome. Welcome, everyone. My name is Ellen Winn. I am an independent agent and team leader, just like you guys, working as an independent agent with DAC. I've been with our company since June of 2018, and I'm so honored today to be the guest presenter on our healthcare program. I love this program, and I want to share with you guys some of the things that I'm doing to have success gathering customers. If this is the first time that you've joined us, we've been doing these healthcare trainings every Tuesday, 11:30 at DAC Zoom. And we've got a lot of facts and data and information about how our plans work. So today I want to take you through, again, some of the things that I'm doing, who I'm talking to, and how I'm having success. So if you don't already have a pen and paper, go ahead and grab something to take notes with, because you're definitely going to want to jot down some of the pointers that I give you today. So first off, I want to go through who I'm talking to, right? Let me make sure my phone is muted. It is. Who am I talking to and where am I finding my clients? Well, every single person that I have talked to about healthcare is either my warm market, people that I already know and have a relationship with, or people that are in my warm market because they are in my Facebook community or a part of my Chamber of Commerce, or they're someone that I'm doing local business with. Okay. So I'm not doing cold calls. I'm not reaching out to people that I don't know. However, when I do meet someone new and have the opportunity to ask them about healthcare, I open the door and open that conversation. But warm market is really where you're going to have the most success, because you've already got a know, like, and trust relationship with those people that you start the healthcare conversation with, right? So here's what I say when I run into someone, or if I'm sending out a text message to ask someone, I just simply ask the question, what are you guys doing for healthcare? Now, again, this is warm market, so it's an easy conversation starter. And when I ask that, it opens the door for a conversation. And I hear a variety of things, but the most common thing that I hear when I ask that question is people grumbling about the cost of what they're paying for their insurance, if they have insurance at all. So I ask the conversation starter, what are you guys doing for healthcare? And people start talking to me. They'll say, oh, well, we have this plan, or we have this, or we're getting ready to renew, we're thinking about making changes, or I'm on healthcare.gov, I'm self-employed, and that's the only option I have. So I hear a variety of different things, right? I've heard it all. Um, when I've had the opportunity, one of the testimonials that I was able to share with Jake from Clearwater was I had some tractor tires advertised on Facebook Marketplace, and one of my friends saw that advertisement, referred a friend of his next door neighbor, and that gentleman actually came out to my house to buy the tires. In the conversation of me introducing myself and showing him what I had to sell, I asked him what he did, and he happened to be a small business owner. So in the conversation, I listened, and as Jake says, I had my head on a swivel and was able to take our smooth conversation about business, the transaction of him buying the tires. He wanted to pay me with a business check, and I said, well, tell me a little bit about your business. How long have you had your company, and what do you guys do? And when he started telling me, I said, oh, you must have a sizable employee group. And he said, yeah, actually, we have about 25 employees. So that naturally led to me asking, well, what are you guys doing for healthcare? Do you offer healthcare to your employees? And he went into the conversation, and they seemed to be happy with the plan that they had when I asked the conversation. So my next statement was, well, I don't know if you'd be open to it or not, but my business services agency has a healthcare division, and we're saving people significantly, typically about a 60% savings versus what they would be spending on traditional insurance, which adds up to about $4,000 per year on employees in a group plan. I just made that statement and opened it with, I don't know if you'd be open to it or not. And then gave him the pitch, and I'll show you exactly where I got that from. And once I said that, I said, if you're open to a quote, we'll give you a free quote and let you really see if what our cost comparison looks like. And he said, he said, I'm open to that. And he gave me his card with his information. I emailed him. And shortly thereafter, he had his office assistant reach out to me to get more information. I then took that information and I scheduled a call with the benefits team or a Zoom meeting with the benefits team. And I'm going to take you through that process. So my goal today is to be more conversational with you on what I'm doing, what I'm saying, who I'm talking to. And I want to take you through the process so you can see what I'm doing to get a client through the system. I'm not just sending out my link and hoping that they'll go fill out the form and go look at the website on their own. I'm really doing some hand holding through the process. But think about this, in that warm market scenario, you are dealing with people that know, like, and trust you, right? So if you have that trusted relationship, you want to be involved in the process. We're not the licensed agent. We don't have to be the experts, but you have enough information, or you will by the end of this Zoom, that you'll be able to take those people step by step through getting a quote and getting a Zoom meeting scheduled. And we've talked about this on some of the other Zooms, but I want to show you that exact process and show you how simple it can be. I'll also say this. I know that first, second, third conversation that you have with people, it may be a little nerve-wracking, right? And you're worried about stumbling over your words, but I promise you, the more conversations you have, the easier it gets. And the more conversations you have, the more conversations you're going to want to have, because when you hear the responses from people, when you ask them the simple question about what are you doing for healthcare, you're really going to understand the impact that our ClearShare program is going to make in the marketplace. So let me get us up on screen share, and I'm going to take you through a few things, and especially if this is your first time joining us, show you some tools that we have right in front of us through our websites as well as our agent resource center. Go to the right page here before I share screen. All right. And let's see. Bernard, I can see you. Can you see my screen? Can you give me a thumbs up if you see my screen? Awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, so DAC has created replicated websites for all of us. So all of us as independent affiliates and agents have our own DAC branded healthcare page. Simply add your ID number to the end of the link and your information is going to populate across the top of the page. That way, when someone is looking at your website, they're going to, and they opt in, they're going to go through your page. But the best thing that you can do if you really want to start promoting healthcare is just get familiar with it. And I liken it to this. How many of you on our Zoom today have a driver's license or have had a driver's license at some time, right? Probably every one of you raising your hand. Well, when you went to get your driver's license, you got your learner's permit and your actual driving permit. You had to study, right? You had to learn the basic laws of the road and what was legal, what was not legal, and how to maneuver and operate a vehicle. So you put time and energy into that, learning a skill and learning the basics of the road so that you could get your driver's license and be lawfully able to operate a motor vehicle on the open roads, right? Well, if you'll put some time and attention into your DAC business, learning the healthcare product, spend time studying it, right? You don't have to spend weeks. You can learn what I'm going to share with you in just a few hours of review. Okay, very few hours. Watch the basic training videos that we have from Clearwater, and then take what I'm showing you today, and you'll be a pro in no time. But the best way to become a pro is for you to start having conversations, because the conversations are going to put you in action, and action is going to take you through having success. Okay, so we're here on our website, and we have one thing you want to do is review your website. Look through it, read it over, see what the different comments are on the page. Most of what you need to say to a customer is right there in front of you on the website. Okay. Here's what I quoted to the example that I just gave. Huge savings up to $4,000 per employee. How did I know that? It's on the website. It's right there in front of me, right? So we've got all of our different healthcare services here on the main page. We're not talking about Flat Fee RX. It has its own page. We're not going to talk about that today. That's our standalone flat fee pharmacy program, which is amazing. Okay. But in most cases, people aren't going to need our Clearwater plans and the flat fee, because our Clearwater plans have an incredible prescription benefits built in to most of the plans. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about today is the individual plans and the employer plans. I want to focus on the individual plan because that's where most of you are probably going to start. And if you haven't already done this, you need to go to your webpage. You need to watch this little 1.5-minute video. You need to read through all of the benefits here. And the more times you read through, you'll have that understanding of the benefits that we offer. And those can be your key talking points when asking someone what they're doing about healthcare. But I think one of the most powerful tools on our website is actually this video near the bottom of the page. This is Clearwater's CEO, Jason Sherman. And this 3.5-minute video is so powerful. He gives 3 different testimonials about how to save money, or how Clearwater has helped clients save money, how we provide a better network, and a testimonial on how that better network potentially saves someone's life, and also how our program helps people reduce their financial risk overall by limiting how much they would have to pay on their health care. So watch that video. And after you listen to that, guys, if you don't have something inside of you tugging that this is a great program, then you need to watch it again, because the deeper I dive into our healthcare program, the more sold I am on the benefits that we offer. Another thing before I go through the actual demonstration is I want to share that I'm a healthcare member. I signed up for our Clearwater plans in August of last year, which is when we launched these plans. So I'm a user of the benefits. I speak to my customers from firsthand experience. I know how the app works. I know how every bit of it works, because I'm not only a member, but I went through all of my preventative care, my annual visits last year after I moved over to this program. And I've used our televisits. I had COVID several weeks back. I used our televisits with our new program, Amaze. And I'm just sold beyond belief on the benefits that we offer, the value that we offer, and especially the price savings that we're delivering to the end consumer, the price savings and reducing their financial risk. So let's go through, and I want to take you through a conversation. Let's say that I had that conversation with someone. I've asked them what they're doing about healthcare, and whatever it is they tell me, I try to ask, well, would you be open to getting a free quote to see if we might be able to save you some money or put you in a better plan, depending on what their answer is. Most of the time they say, sure, I'll be happy to get a quote. We're not ready to do renewal yet, but I'll do a quote so that I'll keep that in the back of my mind as we're getting ready to move forward. Now, a tip on that is if you talk to anyone who's on healthcare.gov, if they are paying too much on healthcare.gov or want to reduce their risk of having to pay back any tax credits that they've taken, they can become a client with us, with DAC Healthcare, at any time of the year, and they can cancel their healthcare.gov plan at any time. So as long as they reach out to healthcare.gov before the first of the month, whenever it bills there, they can cancel and get started and switch over to us. So they don't have to wait for an open enrollment at all. It's one of the benefits of our plan. Okay, let me go through a couple of the buttons here on the site. So when someone goes in and clicks on schedule a call and fills out the form on the website, it's going to go directly over to the book a meeting link on our co-branded page at Clearwater. If they click on learn more, it's going to be more of a learn more experience, and where they're going to be pointed over to our plan comparison. My favorite button to take people through is here at the bottom of the page. So I'm talking with a friend. They reach out, hey, Ellen, I saw one of your videos on Facebook talking about healthcare. We're looking at doing something different. I really wanted to see what it might cost to get started with you guys. And I will take them through. When I'm on the phone and I have somebody on the phone, I always try to be in front of my computer. So if I get a call back from someone that I've met when I'm on the road, I say, hey, I'd love to take you through a quote. I'll be back in my office at such and such time. Would you be available? Or I'll ask them, when's a good time for us to do a quick 5-minute quote over the phone? I want to get in front of my computer. I set that time up, and then I follow up with the client, because here's where I'm having success, guys, is me taking the client through the quote process and booking the meeting. Okay. So my favorite button on the website, knowing that someone is going to get a quote, is I'll click on the get a quote button. Okay. And once I click there, it's going to take me to the form. And my internet's slow when I'm doing screen share. It's going to take me to the form here. This form is the lead form that gets filled out on the DAC healthcare page. So you're going to ask the client for their first name, last name. Even if it's someone you know, they may be going by a middle name or a middle initial or something. So ask them what name they would use on their healthcare, and use their first and last name, get their best email, their phone number, and then you want to make sure that your agency information is pre-populated in there. And then when you click continue, it is going to take you directly over to the get a quote section of our co-branded Clearwater page. Okay. Now, before I go through the quote, I want to explain a couple of things, and you want to make sure you write this down. When that form gets filled out on your DAC healthcare page, that's going to trigger an email coming to you saying, congratulations, someone started, or you have a new lead at HealthShare. And I forget exactly what the subject line is, but it lets you know someone just went through your DAC healthcare page. Okay. When you get that email, if you've not been personally involved and hands-on with that client, I recommend that you reach out to them immediately. Reach out and say, hey, I see you just filled out the form over on my DAC healthcare page. I wanted to see if you were able to get a quote or schedule a meeting, because here's the key. Once they fill out that form, unless they take another step, meaning unless they go in and click on get a quote or book a meeting and move through to the next step of the process where they're submitting their information, their email address, and so on, they're just a lead. Okay. So you got to understand that email with a lead is just a lead until you know for sure that they have taken another step. And that's why I'm personally walking people through. I'm hand holding them through the process without being the broker. I'm just hand holding them through the get a quote tool and the book a meeting. So here's what we do on the get a quote. I'll click on let's get started. And let's say that I've got my friend Tammy on the phone. Tammy, we've already filled out the form with her information. I'm gonna say, okay, let's get started. I'm just going to ask you a few questions. It'll take about 2 minutes for us to go through this. Okay. Now, Tammy, is this going to just be you or a spouse? Do you have children, or you and a spouse and children? Right. I'm asking the question. She says it's just me. I move on through. Okay. Do you currently have an HSA plan? Now, you want to make a note of this too. Understand what HSA stands for and how to describe it. Because most people say, what's an HSA? If they ask that question, they probably don't have an HSA plan. But HSA is Health Savings Account. It's an account where people can contribute pre-tax money into that and to pay for their medical expenses that are out of pocket throughout the year. And it's going to give a lower price plan on our end, but most people don't have health savings account. So just ask the question. All you need to do is really ask this, but I do recommend that you have notes on what an HSA is. Okay. And if they say, no, I'm not putting money aside in one of those, then the answer is no, they don't have an HSA, right? And again, if they do, they'll know, because there's certain intricacies to a health savings account that people have to learn. So they'll know if they have one or not. Okay, so here I'm just reading the questions to the client. Okay, Tammy, to confirm, how often will you need to use your healthcare benefits for day-to-day medical needs? Would you do just basic services like annual physicals only? Or will you go to the doctor a few times a year, maybe see some specialists? Or almost never, where you'd only go for large issues and not even go for your physicals? Most people on this question, when I'm filling out this quote, I always select the second one, because this second one is our advanced plan. I'll show you that in just a minute. But this plan, the advanced plan, is going to look and feel exactly like an insurance plan. It's going to have copays for everything. It's going to cover all of their preventative visits. It's going to have a $20 copay for their primary care. It's going to have a $50 copay for urgent care visits, a $10 copay for blood work, a $50 copay for x-rays, and a $200 copay for big diagnostic tests like MRIs, CAT scans, PET scans, and all of that. How do I know this? Well, I have sat in on the Zooms over and over again. And again, I've studied our healthcare just like you had to study to get your driver's license. I had to study the basics to see, and I'll show you the chart on our page that shows you that side-by-side comparison. But I always select the advanced plan when I do the quote. If they decide that they don't want that, they can save a little bit money going to the basic, but this is going to be the most common, most used plan that people are going to want. So I'm going to select that. And then, how much do you feel comfortable spending out of pocket for a surgery or something major? Tip on this one. This is really the only time they're going to get into out-of-pocket expenses. If they have the advanced plan, they're going to have copays for all their day-to-day stuff. And really, this out-of-pocket max is going to fall into play if they have to take an ambulance ride, or they make an emergency room visit, or a hospital stay, or a major surgery. But then we also have our care coordination that's part of our benefits, where if someone has a pre-scheduled surgery, or they have a pre-scheduled MRI or CAT scan or something of that nature, that's the larger out of pocket, they can go through care coordination and ask care coordination to get involved. And if they go to the provider their care coordination team suggests, then it'll eliminate their out of pocket expense altogether. So understand, this major out of pocket is for what I just described. Okay, most people are going to go with 2,500. I personally have the 5,000 out of pocket, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But 2,500 is what most people go with, because that's kind of in the middle. And then this next question is, what best describes your age group? So I'm going to say Tammy is 40 to 49. And what level of extra accident and critical illness coverage would you like to add to your plan? So see, I'm just letting the quote form take me through my questions to the client. So I don't have to know a lot of details other than some of the basics that I pointed out to you, so you can have an educated conversation if they ask. And if they get into the details, just say, I'm sorry, I'm not the licensed broker on this, so I don't want to give you wrong information. And always defer to the experts, but you can, know a little bit more, like I just explained, and you'll feel more confident going through these forms. Now, this critical illness is explained here. Critical illness: in the event of an unexpected sudden illness, you will receive a lump sum payment allowing you to cover the cost of the associated treatment. The accident, receive a lump sum to cover you in the case of any ER procedures. Okay, so I said that I personally have the 5,000 out of pocket expense. And the reason I selected this is because I also did these two add-ons, which is 5,000 accident, 10,000 critical illness, the pro plan here. All right. I personally have been in the hospital twice. Both of those have been because of accidents and injuries. So most likely, if I were to end up having to use my out-of-pocket expenses, it would be one of these two that would probably pay me a lump sum, which would offset my out-of-pocket expense, if that makes sense. But that's just me. I tell my clients that, and some will say, well, I'm going to do the 2,500, but most people will do this add-on. Again, you don't have to know the details. I'm explaining this to you because it's a training. I'm also explaining this to you from personal experience. I'm not a licensed agent. I'm taking you through the information that I know from my firsthand use. Okay. So we'll add the pro plan on there, which is the add-on for the accident. And then what kind of health plan do you currently have? This is just kind of internal for the Clearwater team. And I'll say individual major medical. And then they want to know about what price we're paying. Let's say 1,200, because I actually did a call with this one recently, and then submit. And once I click on submit, it's going to ask for the client's contact information. And this is where that contact gets carried over. Now you're moving them from David Allen Capital page where they're just a lead. Now, once you get here and you fill in their information on this page, which will typically carry over from whatever you filled out on the previous page. But I'm going to do this to show you what the quote looks like. Now, let me caution you, you never, ever, ever want to go directly to the co-branded DAC page and get a quote without going through your David Allen Capital page first, because the DAC lead form is what connects them to this lead form. Okay, so fill that in, and I'm going to populate my name, select the state, my phone number, and I agree. Once I do that, I'm going to click submit. Now, again, remember, I'm talking to my friend Tammy on the phone in this example. So I would be filling in her information there, her name, her email address, and phone number, and what state she lives in, right? Now, I've got an on-screen quote. So now I'm on the phone with Tammy, and I say, okay, Tammy, my quote's working. Computer's slow sometimes because it takes 30 seconds or so. I'll say, okay, great. I've got your quotes back. The recommended plan, the one that we just talked about, is coming back at $532.90 a month. Another thing, I want to set the stage and make yourself a note on this. I did not tell you this already. Typically, when I have that conversation with someone asking them, what are you doing for healthcare? Before we do get a quote, I'll ask them who they currently have, and I usually have a notepad out. Okay, I have a notepad out, so as I'm talking to them, I'll write down who they have and what they're currently paying. So by the time this number gets presented to me showing what the total cost is, I know whether it's a significant savings or not, right? This example that I'm giving you, this particular quote was coming in at $1,200, what they were paying with their previous carrier. And we were able to bring them down to $532 a month. Okay. So I'll say, Tammy, I've got great news for you. Your $1,200 premium that you're currently paying right now can be as low as $532.90 with us. How does that sound? Right. So I've got that, just presenting good news to her, and she's like, oh wow, that's amazing. And one thing that I do is I'll go up here and I'll copy that email, highlight, right click and copy. I will copy that and I will send it in email directly over to my client, so they immediately have that quote. Now, if she said that that's an amazing price, it sounds great, I'll say, well, that's awesome. Next step is I'd like to book you for a Zoom meeting with one of our healthcare advisors, so they can go through all the benefits of the plan, the details of the plan, and they can answer any questions that you have. In fact, let me go ahead and pull the calendar up right now. So notice what I'm doing. I'm moving to book a meeting, and I'm booking that meeting while I have Tammy on the phone. I'm moving to book a meeting. I'm going to enter my email address. And I'll go back to that second one because it's going to go back to the same advisor that I always get. I'll send her an email letting her know that this is not real. I'll do start booking, and here we are moving into the week. This is getting towards the end of the month, so this is a really busy time for Clearwater. If we're not this far along in the end of the month, normally there are appointments available same day when you pull up the calendar. But I'm going to say, okay, I've got some time available on Thursday. I have between 9:30 and 11:30. Do any of those times work for you? And then Tammy will say, yeah, I can do 10 o'clock, or no, that doesn't work. If not, if those don't work, then I click back and I go to the next calendar day. But my goal after getting that quote is to get them to get the book a meeting scheduled and get that on the calendar for them and for the Clearwater team. So that's how I book the meeting. Once I've clicked book a meeting, it's automatically going to populate on screen with me as to who my advisor is with Clearwater. So I wait for that. I'm emailing them the link to the quote that I did. And I'm also going to say, okay, Tammy, I've got you booked for 2 p.m. on Thursday, the 29th. Now, you're booked with, I'm going to say Tina. Tina is someone that I've worked with several times. You're booked with Tina Brinson. So if you'll check your email, you should have a link from her momentarily. And they'll go over, check their email while I'm on the phone. I'll say, okay, in that email, you should have a link over to the Zoom meeting. Let me ask you one more question, Tammy. Are you familiar with Zooms? Have you done Zoom meetings before? I ask that and tell them if they've not done Zooms, that they might want to log on a few minutes early so that they understand how it works, or might want to watch a little tutorial on how to use Zoom. But if they're familiar with Zooms, I'm going, great. Well, you've got the link. Let me know how that goes. Or you can also ask if it's a good friend and you want to participate on the Zoom with them. You can say, hey, Tammy, I would love to be on that Zoom with you. If you don't mind, could you share and forward a copy of that email to me so that I can jump on there with you while you're talking to Tina? I can ask my friend to do that. And then that way we're all three on there. Now, if we're on the Zoom talking with Tina, Tina's going to handle the call. I'm just sitting back as an observer, listening and learning. And that's how I have gotten so good at what I'm doing, having conversations with people, is participating and being a pro and learning the ins and outs of our program. All right, so that's the book of meeting and all of that. Again, remember, just getting that email saying that someone started the process on dachealthcare.com only puts them in the system as a lead. They are not in the Clearwater hemisphere until you have gotten a quote or until you have booked a meeting. After you've done one of those on our co-branded DAC healthcare page with Powered by Clearwater, after you've done that, now not only are they getting that link for the book a meeting or the link for their quote that you just did, but now they're in the Clearwater follow-up process. They're going to get emails, they're going to get text messages. So this is a critical part of you helping the client move through the system and helping have some follow-up there, some automated follow-up in place outside of you personally having to reach out to the client. Okay. One other thing I want to take you through, and then we'll open up if we have any questions. On our Clearwater page, when you're on the co-branded page, if you go to plans and click on health share, just click this health share link right here. It's going to open up to this page. And this page is great. It's a great learning tool for you because it does a side-by-side comparison on most of the features, not all. The one that's really showing you all of the features is this one. When you do get a quote, you can click this drop-down arrow and it really takes you through everything that's covered, including the prescription coverage, mental health, telemedicine, the critical illness add-on that we did. But this side-by-side comparison page on our DAC co-branded page shows you whether there's a copay in this advanced column. Again, this is the most used, and I would say I would recommend the advanced plan unless somebody just needs catastrophic only, right? because this is the one that's going to look, feel, and act just like insurance on their day-to-day needs, right? Because there's just a copay for everything. And then we have our basic clear share, HSA, clear share, et cetera. So learn that. And I know that that will help you be much more comfortable talking about healthcare. But the example that I just gave you, going from $1,200 a month to just over $500, that's a real life example. I can go through every client that I've had has been a significant savings, with the exception of one. And in the long term, we're really saving him money. That one client that our pricing was not less than what he was currently paying, he was on a healthcare.gov plan. So as a self-employed individual, he thought that was his only option for healthcare. So he was paying a little over $400 a month for his healthcare.gov. I'm gonna get off the screen share here. He was paying a little over $400 a month for his healthcare.gov plan, right? But his plan, actually, without his tax credit, he was on a $1,300 a month premium plan. He had a $900 tax credit, so $1,300 minus the $900 tax credit left him with only paying $400 a month out of pocket for that plan. But here's the kicker. When I did a quote with him, our plan was a little bit over $400. So he's going to spend a little bit more. But here's where our plan was such a tremendous value to what he currently had. One, we had a better network of doctors, lower out-of-pocket expenses, no deductible to meet, really covered with day-to-day care unless he had a catastrophic issue, critical illness, or an accident or injury that hospitalized him, took him in the emergency room. But here's what the deal is, and this is a key for you to know as an entrepreneur, that those tax credits on healthcare.gov, if someone is utilizing that towards paying for their premium, that $900 a month tax credit that my friend James was taking advantage of, which reduced his actual out-of-pocket expense to $400, to get that tax credit, you have to project what your annual income is going to be the following year when you're selecting your plans in November and December, right? So if James had under projected what his income was going to be, and he made a lot more money than he thought he was going to, at the end of the year, he could potentially have to pay back those tax credits. I have a accountant that's on my DAC team. And when I mentioned that to her, she said, oh, I've got 4 clients right now that are having to pay back 100% of the tax credits that they receive. So if you take $900 over the course of a year, that could mean that my friend James would have had to pay back $10,800 in tax credits that he really wasn't eligible for. So when I moved him off of the healthcare.gov plan over to our plan that was, again, just a few dollars more out of pocket from what he was paying, now he could rest easy and not have to worry about ever having to pay back those tax credits. Plus, his cost of his health care is still a tax deduction. So it was a win-win for him. All right, so guys, I hope that what I've covered with you today has been beneficial. If we have time for questions there, Morgan, I'm happy to take a couple to make the most use of our time here today. Okay, I see Carmen has a hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute, Carmen. How are you today?
I'm doing super. They won't let me show my face, so that's okay. But anyway, I saw this and it was super, and I took as many notes, but I wanted to know if it's recorded because I want to read it, watch it again, and take more notes, but I don't know where it be posted.
It is recorded and it's on the DAC YouTube channel. So dacyoutube.com. It'll be available for playback there. Absolutely. Thank you, Carmen.
You're welcome.
You bet. All right. Well, if no one else has questions, anything there in the chat, Morgan, that needs to be addressed?
We have a few questions about if it's recorded. So yes, always record it on dacyoutube.com. Let's see. We have a few questions direct to me about the actual plans. It would be more Jake questions as far as transferring off of your medical insurance. This is a health share, so it's not a technical health insurance. And you can join at any time during the year. There is not any certain open period where you can start or fill out a quote. I guess I should say the start date would always be on the following first of the month if you were to go forward with the plan. But if you have any more specific questions regarding the plan, I'd love if you guys could direct that to support@davidallencapital.com, and we can keep these questions more towards Ellen's strategy or Ellen's expertise while we have her on today.
Yeah,
Like we've
awesome.
got-
And thank you for that, Morgan. Back to me saying I'm not a licensed insurance agent, and none of us have to be, as long as we're just taking people through the quote and helping them book a meeting, because those are generic questions that anybody can answer on their own, right? So you always want to get them over to the benefits team to let them have those specific questions about the plan, and then they will take the health share conversation. They'll explain how health share came to be, the background of it, and why our plan is a unique health share plan versus some of the others in the marketplace. Okay. I see Christopher has a hand up. Christopher, I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you today?
Oh, Ellen, what a wow. So much information you provided. One of the key things that really struck with me that you shared was even in the conversations I've had, both with individual business owners and corporation, you brought to my awareness how it isn't enough going over the DAC healthcare or health share benefits that we offer. And I've probably gone over my own website at least 30 times. But even with you sharing what you did today, I'm like, holy cow, I didn't see that. How did I not see that? So I don't have as much as a question as I do in thanking you for sharing with us today what you did and bringing awareness that we really do need to become better familiar with what we have to offer in regards to health share. And that was it. I just wanted to thank you.
Well, thank you for that, Christopher. I appreciate the kind words and glad that that was helpful. And the beauty of this, back to Carmen's point, is that it's recorded. So if I talk too fast, which I know I probably did, you can go back and watch the replay, pause, take notes. And I encourage you to go through, if you haven't already gotten a quote yourself, follow what I'm teaching and go through and fill out that form on your own and get your own quote so that you're getting the real see it, feel it, touch it experience that you should be going through so that you really get a good grasp of how this works. V, right, you have your hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing today, V?
I'm fine. Am I heard?
Yes, ma'am. You sure
Okay.
are.
Ellen, I just wanted to say that whenever you and Harlequin speak, I stop multitasking and give you my full attention. And I just wanted to say this was an excellent, excellent presentation, and everyone should definitely file it away on YouTube. I've gone through the process myself. I don't need the insurance now, but it was just so good to see you do it again, because it reconfirms to me that, yes, this is what you do. You were not speaking too fast. It was just very much spot on. And I want you to know how much it's going to be appreciated and how much I appreciate it. I know it's something that I can always refer back to if I have any questions. So really extremely well done. Take a bow. Here are your flowers.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Matthew Duhane, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Hey, Matt, how are you today?
All right, partner. Well, guess what? I want you to call my entire warm market. Is that okay?
I won't call them for you, but I'll be happy to do it with you, Matt. That's my rule.
You know,
I don't call for, I call with, so that people
I'm
can
kidding.
learn on the line with me. You know that, but I'm saying that for everybody else's benefit.
Of course, I was kind of joking, but not really. I mean, that would be, in conjunction with David's call yesterday about upline referral, right? You know, that whole idea, which is probably rather valuable with this training you just did, which was inclusive and extremely educational and informative. This should be, I'm telling you, this is not plugged into the healthcare thing. I know there's a great need. I'm focused elsewhere. However, I'm not going to neglect the literally, over 2,000 agents on my downline who will want to offer it because of your presentation, because of the way you laid it out, disarming with that open mind qualifier, with, what are you guys doing for that very personable approach to a warm market. And I guarantee you, 95% of the agents on my team have not done that. And there's no harm in it. I mean, it's not like you're selling it. Just by the way, it's that casual, everybody's got it, like you said, everybody's got a driver's license. Well, everybody's got to have some kind of health care coverage. And there's so many people that just don't. And this is an opportunity. It's a really great job. And again, I'm just echoing what V said. It's you should be very pleased with you're practicing. You can tell you're getting sharper and sharper with those Chamber of Commerce meetings you're doing, apparently. And very, very laid back. But I got to tell you, that was excellent. And this should be used as a training. So just thank you for all you do. I really appreciate your selflessness. And we're certainly in this together, tied at the hip, young lady.
I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you. And I appreciate the kind words. And to that conversation about it being effortless, if I notice, I don't go at this saying, hey, we've got this healthcare program, we can save you 60%. I never go into it trying to sell. I always lead with a question to open the conversation and kind of gauge where they are in the process. Even if they're on an employer plan and their employer is providing healthcare coverage to them, I will still go into, and I want to show one more screen share real quick from the Agent Resource Center. I said I would show you a tool. This particular document is the one that has all of the bullet points that you really need to learn, right? Talking about $8,000 a year annual savings for individuals, 30% of independent workers, 1099 workers, or self-employed solopreneurs don't have insurance at all. 70% of Americans are on the wrong healthcare plan. 65% of bankruptcies are due to medical benefits, and 60% less expensive, and 4,000 savings. So I learned these bullet points, and I am able to weave those statistics into a conversation effortlessly, right? Depends on how deep that conversation goes with someone. So those will be the tools that will really help you. Again, thank you for those kind words, Matt. Got one more question here from Rebecca. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Can you unmute there, Rebecca? Let me try one more time. Looks like we are not getting unmuted. And I think, oh, there you are.
I'm here.
Hey, Rebecca.
Hi, Ellen. Hi, everybody. I just had a couple of questions in regards to a potential person that's looking for health care. They're in the medical business, and they let their health 6 months ago. And I was sharing with her that she can take a look at what we're doing, and if she wanted to do it solo, just as her and her family, she can do it that way. But I thought that she can actually look at it as a 1099 person because she has several different employees under her. So she was asking me, did I know the time frame, because she have need of going to a physician as soon as possible. She have fibromyalgia or something. And I really didn't know how to answer her with the turnaround time.
Yeah. So real easy answer. As an individual, they could get started today as long as they get enrolled and signed up before midnight, or before the end of day. Before the end of day on the last day of the month, they can have coverage effective the beginning of the next month. So the very next day, right? So somebody through the end of this month, they can sign up and have coverage effective on the 1st of the next month. As far as your question about individual 1099s and all of that, our group plans require 3 or more employees to be eligible for list billing. But essentially, the pricing is not very different for an individual, one person enrolling, versus what the group plan pricing is. That group plan pricing and billing is just a convenience, really, in my opinion, to let that company receive one bill for 3 or more employees. If they have less than 3 employees, then those employees can enroll individually through your plan. But Rebecca, you and I can take questions in more detail offline for the benefit of everybody else and the benefit of time here today. Okay.
Thank you.
Appreciate being on here, and I appreciate everyone for your time and attention to this. And again, I hope you'll go watch the video, hit replay, and then go through and follow what I've shared with you today, because I promise you it's really simple. It's not easy making that first conversation or the second one, but the more and more you do it, the easier it's going to be to get out of your comfort zone and get into that helping zone, knowing that you're truly providing a very valuable benefit to your local community and helping people save money and helping people get on a program that's not going to put them at financial risk in the event of a critical illness or major emergency that could be catastrophic to them financially if they didn't have the right healthcare plan. So with that, I'm finished, unless you have something else, Morgan.
No, that was incredible. Thank you so much for being on with us, Ellen. I think everyone else agrees that was super valuable. And again, it'll be on dacyoutube.com for anyone that wants to rewatch it or share with their team.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. My honor. Thank you all. Have a blessed day. We'll see you on the next Zoom.